Fellow tennis nerds, I hope all is well. I'm here with Nikki, who was in a video very recently, and we got some questions about comparing rackets, but I thought it would be more fun if we just tested a bunch of rackets that you haven't tried before. And we went through this cancha bag full of sticks, and you started with this one, the Gravity Tour 98, which is a new model from Head. This year, they removed the Gravity 100, they made it a 98 with a 1619 pattern.
Yep.
And what did you think?
All in all, really liked it, really enjoyed it. It plays as good as it looks. Finally, a racket from Head that I would be very happy to play with. Trajectory of the ball was great. The only thing it lacked was a bit of stability in the head, so I think you definitely would need to customize it to just make it a little bit more impactful when you're hitting flat or on the serve, because all my serves were just, I could feel the racket sort of twisting.
Yeah, they were going down a lot.
Kick serve great, slice, all good. So yeah, that was the only sort of asterisk, but otherwise really enjoyed it. Was definitely by far the best racket from Head for a long time.
It's one of the most hyped rackets for a good reason, I would say. You know, so and most people who tried it, they love it. So it makes sense that you also like it.
Yep.
And then you tried the two Radicals that will be not out yet, but in March sometime. No. Okay. So in a few weeks you will be able to buy these. So you tried, this was your racket of choice with some customization a while back, some years back. Now you use the Ezone as we talked about.
I used to play just Radical MP, customized to 315-ish, I think it was.
Yeah, pretty heavy Radical MP. These were stock, Pro and MP. Pro is the thinner beam one, slightly heavier. But yeah, this was quite a drastic change from the Gravity Tour.
Yeah, so I warmed up with the Gravity Tour, felt great. Then I switched to this and I couldn't get the ball over the net for about good few minutes. Trajectory of the ball was just so low and didn't really feel I got anything on the ball. If I was hitting it flat, it was fine, and it just has so much vibration in my arm. To be honest, I don't know how I played with this for so long. To be honest,
and there's more vibration in the racket you use.
Exactly, yeah. So I just didn't get anything. I think that was the reason I had it relatively quite heavy, because it's the only way to sort of get something out of the racket. It was a shame because it's also, I mean, it's very bright. I don't think it looks bad. I quite like the colours.
Especially towards the green here, it looks pretty.
Yeah, but it's just quite garish. But yeah, playability-wise, the Pro was definitely better, but not great at all, to be honest. Really not great.
Yeah, you didn't love this.
No. It was just so much vibration. I feel like if you play with this for a while, you're going to get arm problems. Yeah,
they're difficult rackets. They're demanding rackets.
It shouldn't. Radical. Do you know what I mean? Like their prestige is a demanding racket, fair, but like
they should be more user friendly.
Decent beam width, good head size. There should be no reason why they should be demanding. No. And that's sort of a little bit my issue with them.
Fair enough, I would say.
Yeah.
Full review to come about the Radicals. Then you tried two Tfights. We had one. This is the 100 square inch racket. It's not out yet in Europe, but in the US. And the most hyped one, the 305, that's 1819 string pattern. And this, I must say, although I know you're not a big Tecnifibre fan, that you played really well with and you served well with.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't mind it actually at all. It definitely lacks some weight in the head. I know they reduced the swing weight on purpose, which I think is good for general public. However, it's lost something, so the sweet spot is so low down on the racket. And that was the only sort of qualm. Otherwise, I actually felt quite nice with it. It's definitely much better than the Radicals.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned earlier, I don't mind the grip shape personally because I play with quite a sort of continental grip. However, if you have any kind of semi-Westernish grip, it's unusable, the grip shape, I think, which is...
It's a tricky one. It's something that you have to mention in every review.
Yeah.
Because it's so different from all the other brands, right? So you have to mention it. And if you're transitioning from an Ezone or from a Wilson, it's going to be tricky. You know?
Yeah, and cosmetic-wise...
It's glossy.
Yeah, it's glossy, which is an improvement. It's just there's not. It looks like what's it called? Like a test frame, like before.
Prototype.
Prototype.
Yeah.
Paint job.
A very French prototype.
French prototype paint job. But it was, I served also very well with it.
Yeah. I think you played better with that than the Radicals.
100%. Yeah. Oh, not bad. 100, however. Couldn't put a ball in the corner. Didn't like it at all.
This is a little bit more extreme. Some will love it more, some will like it less, and you liked it less.
Very less. Yes.
Yeah. This was clear. A lot less.
But you know.
It's different strokes for different folks, but the 305 is what most people are interested in anyway. The SX 300 Tour, we didn't bring the regular 300 because we already tried the blacked out versions. The video is on the channel. The 300, this one, it looked like, and also I felt like your shots were more, confident with the dragon.
I normally don't like funny looking rackets. And this is very funny looking. Not in the, but in the shape, this funny business.
Yeah, it's not like a traditional racket.
No.
Design.
But racket's very nice. I really like it. It's got a maybe slightly over dampened feel. However, I think it's really good. It was very nice on the volleys as well. I could really accelerate through the ball. I wouldn't say it's a spin racket personally, which it should be, right?
No, it's not so spinny. Like
No.
I would say there are spinnier rackets like the Aero or whatever.
Yeah, but I really, this was my second favorite of the day.
No?
Definitely. Paint job is quite out there, but I don't mind it.
I kind of like it.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Personally, right?
Yeah, especially with the strings, and if you started putting logos on, it would also look better.
This is too much work for me.
With or without logos, actually. I would always put a logo on a racket I play with.
Yeah, but talking about logos, there's a logo on this racket
Yep.
because I didn't string it. Clash, okay, this is a little bit of an outlier because it's not maybe the advanced player racket, but it's the Pro, so
Yep.
it's a bit heavier. This is good for comfort generally,
Yes.
but you could also play pretty decent tennis with it.
Yeah, I liked it. Again, this is not my profile of frame that I would ever use. However, it was actually pretty good.
Yep.
Ball wasn't flying off, impact was good, sweet spot was good. Does need as well, has a little bit of a low sweet spot in my opinion, so it just feels...
And one way to move it up, I mean, you're doing customization,
Yeah,
so like putting
just-
the weight higher up. right?
Exactly, just to increase either in this, because it's quite a solid frame, you just generally I'd probably recommend just putting some at the top because then it would make it a little bit flexy and move the sweet spot up slightly.
Yeah.
In other rackets, for example, the Gravity, I would 100% put on the sides to stabilize, increase the twist weight and stabilize the impact point.
Yeah, you need. I did that
because
before.
there's a little bit too much of this. But on this, all in all, this is probably my third favorite racket.
Yeah.
Not that I would ever use it, but
No, you're in the Zone 98 guys.
no, I just don't really like the paint job, which
Yeah.
is weird because it's black. I like black rackets, but it's just looks a bit dated.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We got some questions from the viewers. Take the relevant ones. So, if you have the Ezone 98
Yeah.
and the Tfight 305, that's the Tfight you
Yeah.
like the most.
Yes.
How would you compare them?
So the T-fight is definitely more solid. Obviously, the reason I like the Ezone is because it has that little sort of whip feeling, which
Yeah.
you don't have on the T-fight. I would say the T-fight is basically a better radical in
Yeah.
terms of playability with it, in terms of how it compares. You do get
Maybe a stronger competitor to the Blade than what the Radical is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%. For me, the E-Zone gives more balance between feel and power.
Yep.
Whereas I feel this is still there's a lot of vibration in it. Personally, for me, I don't play with a vibration dampener.
Do you like the slightly muted feel of the Ezone?
Yeah, exactly. And I feel the E-Zone is a little bit whippier. This would be better for slightly straighter strokes, I think. Because I think, all in all, very solid frame. So that actually is quite nice.
There was also a question from Bruno about the
Hello,
better
Bruno.
quality graphite on Pro Stock frames. So it's like if you get a Pro Stock,
Yeah.
is it a better choice from quality's point of view?
Yes, we get asked this a lot on
Yeah,
Instagram.
I can imagine.
And it doesn't exist. Rackets that are Pro Stock are not better than retail rackets. Doesn't exist. The only reason they're called Pro Stock is because often they are rackets that were made in the past and now they're not made in the factories where the rackets are made. So they have to make them in their Pro Stock factory, but they are not better graphite, not better carbon, not better materials. They're just slightly different. For example, a lot of, let's say, Sinner now is using the Speed, what was it called? The one with the chain
Speed
hold.
301, yeah.
Exactly.
Those four.
That was a retail racket.
Yeah.
Completely retail racket, but now it's Pro Stock because he still uses it.
Yeah.
But it's not made with magic carbon fibers from very
That makes you play better, right? No.
unicorn
it doesn't.
hairs. So no, Pro Stock is not a thing.
And also another pretty popular question
Yep.
from both you and I get. Glossy versus matte. Like, is there a playability difference when a racket is glossy versus matte? Some pros would say yes.
Yes, there is very marginally. The biggest difference is the hand feel, more than anything. So most players, the reason they like one or the other is because they like the hand feel, not so much the end result. However, a gloss racket is going to be ever so slightly stiffer, basically because gloss and matte is the same. The reason that a matte coating is matte is because the particles are a little bit further apart, and basically there's air in the finish, so it makes it slightly softer. That's basically the difference between gloss and matte. So the playability, I don't think that anybody watching this would feel the difference. You might think you do, but you won't. But you'll just feel the difference in your hand. So it's just a hand feel. So, if whether you like it or not, that's the biggest difference there is, really. Yeah.
Good answer.
Yeah.
I think it's also good to point out that there's a lot of emotional things that goes into cosmetics and gloss and things that makes us think something that might not be actually true when you check the data, right? So that's quite important. Thanks a lot, Nikki.
Yes.
I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a nice day and
don't forget to play some tennis.